And welcome to IELTS Express. My name is Evelyn and I'm a qualified teacher of English as a foreign language. I've been preparing students for the IELTS exam now for the last 2 years. I've been teaching English for the last 4.5 years. Um, what I'd like to talk to you about today is um, just I just want to summarise the whole exam for you, because I know that if you look on the website, there's a lot of information to read. Sometimes it's too much. If you ask a friend, they might tell you some things and miss other things out. So I just want to summarize the whole exam for you, so it's easy to understand what is included in the exam, and so that you are prepared and don't get any surprises once you sit the exam. So the exam consists of four different parts. You will be assessed on these different skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So let's talk about speaking first. The speaking test will last from 11 to 14 minutes about. And the first part is an interview, just a general interview. What I suggest you do is introduce yourself. Say hello, where you're from, your age. The examiner might ask you um, a little bit about yourself. So try to avoid answering one word answers like yes or no, or just saying, my name is blah 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 and I'm from Rome. Try to make your answers a little bit more, a little bit longer, to achieve a 6.5 score or above. Maybe say, my name is, I don't know, Piero, and I come from Rome, the capital of Italy. I've been here for 3 years, or that's if you're if you're not in Rome. But try to make your answers a little bit longer than just one word answers to get your 6.5 or above. So what you will do is answer general questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics in these questions. They're not going to be things that you don't know about. There will be familiar topics like work or study or where you live, what your hobbies are. And this part will last between 4 and 5 minutes. The next part of the speaking exam, part 2, is where you will be given a card, and in this card you will have to talk about a particular topic. So it might ask you about your ideal place to go on holiday, or your hometown. You will have 1 minute to prepare what you're going to say before speaking for up to 2 minutes. So you will be speaking for up to 2 minutes. The examiner will then ask you one or two questions about the same topic to finish this part of the exam. So it's good to practice with the cards and the prompts, the topics that you can find on the internet, on the IELTS website. Maybe practice with a friend. If it's a native speaker, even better. Or you can find an IELTS teacher who can teach you one-to-one, and then you can practice your speaking. For part 3 of the exam, you will be asked further questions connected to the topic in part 2. These questions will give you the opportunity to discuss more abstract ideas and issues. And this part will last about 4 or 5 minutes. So you've got the first part is the introduction, second part is you get the card and the topic that you will have to speak about for 2 minutes, and the third part you will be asked more questions about the topic that you've been speaking about in the second part. What they assess is your fluency. They look at if you stop for a while, or if you have a lot of in your sentences, your fluency, how your language flows. They will look at your pronunciation. So it's good to practice with a native speaker to get your pronunciation right. And they will look at your grammar, how you put your sentences together. Right, so that's the speaking part. What I'd like to talk about now is your the next part, which is the listening. The listening is 30 minutes long. You will listen to 4 recorded texts, which are different conversations or monologues by a range of native speakers. Now, these can be, the accents can be English, Australian, Canadian, South African, American. So it's good to get used to hearing people speak in different accents. You can find people speaking different accents on the internet. For example, you can look at the news from Canada and listen and see if you can understand. Get used to hearing people speaking in different accents. So in these questions, you will be tested on your understanding of the main ideas and detailed information. So you will be asked general questions and more detailed questions. What I say to my students is, don't write what you think the answer is straight away. Have a good listen, because sometimes it can be quite tricky. You might think you understand, but later on you will hear different things which will give you a different answer. So that's your listening. Now, as the listening goes along, it gets harder and harder. The first part is the easiest and the last part hardest. For the reading exam, now this is 60 minutes long. There's 40 questions in the reading exam. Now, what they are testing are reading for gist, which means reading for general understanding, to see if you've got the general understanding of what you've just read, if you can understand what it says generally. Reading for main ideas, reading for detail, your ability to skim, which means to go through it quickly, and understanding a logical argument, recognizing the writer's opinions, attitudes, and purpose. So, again, with the reading, the first part is usually easier, and then it just gets harder as it goes along. Sometimes you get yes, no, maybe questions. You might get true or false questions. So for timing, I know that people struggle with timing in the reading test. So it's good to practice skimming, and it's good to identify, read the question very carefully, and then go straight to the topic in the question, rather than reading the whole thing and trying to understand every word. For the writing is 60 minutes. It's different whether you're studying for the academic test or the general test. In the academic, you get 2 tasks, which I talk about in more detail in my other video. And in the general training exam, you will get 2 tasks as well, but they are different. In the general training test, it's usually to write a letter requesting information or explaining a situation. You can write it in a formal way if it's a formal situation, or it could be a personal situation. And task 2 of the general training is to write an essay in response to a point of view, argument or problem, and it's usually more personal in style than the academic task 2 writing. You can find more information about the academic test in my other video. So that's speaking, writing, reading and listening. Now, if you are after one-to-one lessons, I'm available on Skype, and I am available to teach in London. If you're after classes, there are classes going on at Islington College London, that's in North London. Their website is www.islingtoncl.co.uk. There are classes going on there. But please visit my website for more information. I hope you have found this video helpful, and feel free to comment or ask any questions. Thank you. Bye bye.